Alright, so some of you may have noticed that I didn't paint the fenders, and that's because I ended up buying a bunch of new parts from GoPro Power Sports, not a sponsor, but I ended up needing new wheels, and so I got wheels and I got new fenders. I also got a kickstand, some additional stuff that it needed. So I'm gonna assemble some of that stuff now, and we're gonna get it on the bike. Alright, so you can see the difference. Old tire, which was flat and bald, and then new tire, which it came as a kit. So it came with a sprocket, and it also came with brakes. And so I'm just going to use this kind of as a reference to see which side I'm putting it on. And then this sprocket that I bought a larger sprocket, and so that'll give me a little bit more torque. Basically so that I can haul myself around on the thing. So the wheel kit comes unassembled. So I'm gonna assemble the wheel. Looking at it, it looks like it is even the space between, for the sprocket and the brake as well. And so I'm looking at the tread direction, and I want the arrows here, I want this to be pointing forward. So if this is forward here, I want the sprocket to be on this side, because then when I mount it, it'll be pointing forward. So I'm going to mount the sprocket on this side here. I'm also going to look at here, this is the valve stem. I want to try and align the sprocket so that the valve stem, I have access to it if I need to, put air in the tire. And so if I don't know, you can't see it, but the valve stem is here, and so if I put it with these holes like this, then I don't have access to it. And then like this is the next spot. No, this spot here gives me an opening to get access to the valve stem. So this is where I'm going to put it. Alright, so I'm using the wood blocks just to raise up the bike a little bit so that I can mount the wheel. Hopefully it'll make it easier. The wheel kit comes with the axle as well. And so this doesn't need to be super tight, it just needs to be on, and the lock nut holds it in place and doesn't come off. And so I'm going to use this to just try and get me close. Next I'm going to install the foot pegs. I'm going to try and get a better shot of what I'm doing here. So this is the foot peg. Curved side goes to the back. Underneath I've got it around the retaining pin, or around the housing here for the retaining pin. I have it hooked up front. So then I'm going to kind of hold it in place. So I believe I'm going to try and hook this bottom hook to here while trying to slide this long part past that, because ultimately that's what's going to stop it in the end. So, alright. So then while it's tension's on it, I'm going to slide the pin in. There it is. So now that's how it's going to spin. And then for now I'm going to reuse these cotter pins. I probably will try to buy new ones just because they're cheap, but for now, because I don't have any, I'm going to shove this in here. So that's how it's supposed to work. I'm going to do the same to the other side. So I also bought this kickstand to go because it was missing one, and so I'm gonna try and install it. All right, so it's not as easy as it seems, and I'm messing up my paint job sadly, but I can try and touch that up after. But so I think I've changed my way. I think I'm gonna try and hook up this end here, the spring first, and then I'm gonna try and walk this, kind of force this thing on. Alright, wow, that was not pretty, but it's on. If anyone knows a better way, post it in the comments. That's alright. Alright, so next I'm going to work on putting the bearings back into the steering column here. Originally, when I took these out, I thought that they were standard bearings that kind of came in skateboards and rollerblades, but they're actually not. So I tried to install some rollerblade bearings, and they are. I'll show you here. So I ended up buying a kit that's specific to the mini bike. I just bought it on Amazon, but the inner diameter is bigger because the bolt that goes through there is bigger, and then the thickness of this bearing is actually thinner than a a rollerblade bearing. So I'm gonna install these. Hopefully, they were pretty tight coming out. They should be pretty tight coming in. The kit came with 2 bearings and actually a new sleeve. So actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the bottom piece in first. I'll put the bottom one in first, that way I can kind of put this guy in place. But that's what I'm working on next. So you can see that I just used the washer to help try and drive it in flush, and so now I've got the thing in place. All right, so here's the plan. I have 2 different size washers. I have 2 smaller washers and 1 large washer, and then the nut here and then the bolt. Underneath is where I'm going to put the large washer. On each end of the bearing here, the small washer, so that it fits up against that center inner race there. Alright, now I'm going to tighten it in place. I'm not going to put it super tight. I'm just going to get it snug. The bolt at the bottom is like a lock nut, and so it'll hold it in place. Alright, looking good. Okay, so I went to install the front tire, and if you take a look at the hub from the original one, these sections here that hold the bearings are shorter, and they were also offset, and so they used these 2 spacers to to align the wheel and also to make up the distance between the 2 front forks there. The new front tire comes with a hub where they're spaced out already, and so when I put it in place and I test fit it, there's a gap between the fork and this hub here by about, I don't know, maybe like a little over 1/4 of an inch, and so I need to come up with some sort of spacer. I don't really want to mess up these spacers because these are original. So I think what I'm going to do is, this spacer came with the kit for the front steering column, and it's too long, and I didn't use it. I just used the original piece, and so I think I'm going to cut off spacers from here because the axle nut fits in here all right. So then that'll allow it to come up against the inner race of the bearing nicely, and also space it out. And so I think I'm going to cut spacers out of this piece here and use those instead. I measured the distance of the space that was needed between the forks and the wheel. And so, see, this is an original spacer, and these are extra spacers that I found that were the same size. And so the distance was about two of these. I only have this is all I have for washers. So I ended up cutting a spacer out of that sleeve that was extra. That was equal to about the same length. I'm just gonna cut the one. I'm gonna use the washers on the other side, and I think it'll be all right. So that's going to wrap it up for this project. There's plenty of other things that I can do to the mini bike to just kind of finish it up, but I think I've dragged it out long enough. I hope you enjoyed the series. If you do, please like, comment, and subscribe. There's more to come. Thank you very much.